The surging demand for American flags has one local company working around the clock.
King International Printing Company makes American flags, stickers, and magnets. Well, that company's had to add about 20 temporary workers in recent weeks to handle the growing number of orders they're getting from across the country.
So we had to do 5.5 million bumper stickers for Lowe's, and so I had to work 2 12-hour shifts. So I was working around the clock 5 days a week to get this job done.
Chris Smith says there's no telling how long that flag popularity is going to last. King International is a family-owned business that has operated in King for the past 30 years. They are busy. Well, a young author brings his message of diversity to the triad.
Yellow magnetic ribbons, they seem to be everywhere these days, and you might be surprised to learn that those magnets you see on a lot of cars are made right here in the triad. Shaniqua Manning is live with that story. Shaniqua?
Well, Cameron, these yellow ribbon magnets that say support our troops were made right here in King, North Carolina, but they're showing up on cars all across the country, even around the world.
We send orders out to every state. I noticed one the other day from Guam. We shipped some ribbons to Guam.
It started in April of 2003 when Chris Smith and Dwayne Gullion heard about a shortage of yellow ribbons in the U.S. So they decided to make magnetic ribbons, and the idea has taken off.
It's amazing. You go and you see 10 cars, you'll see 2 or 3 cars over every 10 that's got a ribbon or some kind of magnet on the back of it.
And its popularity continues to grow.
I was real surprised about the staying power of the yellow ribbons.
It's something that people care about, and they want to show their support for their loved ones and their friends.
Every day, their company's call center in Poptown receives hundreds of calls, all ordering boxes of magnets. And the manufacturing plant in King turns out nearly 30,000 a day. But it's not just the yellow ribbons that are in high demand.
Are you talking about the autism awareness ones, correct?
Autism, breast cancer awareness, plus fun ones that say, "I survived 2004. Ivan, Charlie, Francis, and Jean." Another plus to these magnets.
And it's not permanent, you know, it won't damage your car, and it is probably going to replace the bumper sticker to some extent.
Now, hundreds of other companies have popped up to compete with Magnet America, but 80% of the ribbons that you see on cars are still made right here in the Triad. Back to you.
All right, I learned something tonight. Thanks, Shaniqua.
You've seen them on the back of cars, yellow ribbon magnets showing support for the troops. But do you ever wonder where the idea came from? WFMY News 2's Heidi McGuire takes us to King, North Carolina, where a small idea led to big business.
When the war came about, everybody wanted to know, what are you going to do for the war?
In the business of making magnets for more than 2 decades, Chris Smith never thought his idea for the yellow ribbon magnet would stick.
We thought it would be maybe have a life of a few months and probably die out.
That was a year and a half ago. Smith says he had the idea for the magnets when he saw there was a shortage of yellow ribbons.
Makes you feel good that you're doing something to support the war.
A product employees take pride in.
To see that something you printed going down the road on somebody's back of their car was kind of cool, because he's like, well, I did that.
From big to small, representing causes and organizations, there's a magnet for every season. But there will always be a favorite around here.
I don't know if anything can top the ribbon.
In Greensboro, Heidi McGuire, WFMY News 2.
To market their magnets, King International teamed up with Magnet America. Last year, more than 1 million yellow ribbon magnets just flew off the shelf.
On the yellow ribbon theme, remember? And it's sweeping the nation. We're talking about those yellow ribbon car magnets. The 2 men behind it. Is that Tony Orlando and Don I hear in the background? Dwayne Gullion and Chris Smith were searching for a way to support our troops, and they came up with this. And they're with us now from Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey, fellas, thanks so much for being with us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Who thought of this idea? Was it you, Dwayne?
No, it was Chris Smith.
Yeah? Well, how'd you come across this idea?
Well, it was last year, end of March, reading an article out of a local newspaper about a shortage of yellow ribbon, and just kind of seen that there was a shortage and put it with the idea of making a magnet, kind of like sports balls and some of the other stuff we currently print.
I think most people have seen them by now, but in case they haven't, we do have a picture that we can show of what they look like. And the idea is just to show that Americans support the troops, right? This is apolitical, correct?
Right.
That's right.
Take us through that a little bit, because I guarantee there are some people who've had discussions with you about this. What type of discussions? Has anyone raised particular arguments about it one way or another? Does it make people come together and talk about our position in Iraq?
I think that it has brought that debate up, but the whole idea behind the ribbon, and from what we can get from most of the people that put these on their car or want to show support, is it's just the thoughts and prayers of America for our armed forces, and it's just a great way to show support. And we hear a lot from the military personnel when they come home and they see these, they had no idea, and it's just a really encouraging thing for them.
And here's the way it works. You sell them, and then you take the proceeds from the sales and you do what with it?
We at Magnet America, our company, has been able to donate to Freedom Calls. It's a foundation in New York that sets up voice over IP and video conferencing. It's in Camp Cook, north of Baghdad, and so the families can communicate for free back and forth with each other. And we've been able to help local family readiness groups, National Guard units, just with donation of product. And it's been a great fundraising product for the different groups.
Help them how? What kind of help do these families need that you're able to give them that they otherwise wouldn't be able to get? We're talking about the people who are here whose husbands or wives may be over there in Iraq, correct? Or Afghanistan?
Yes, it helps them to be able to send packages, keep in contact with the family. There have been some people sending phone cards, but it also helps the people, the families here at home that have lost some incomes. You know, some of the National Guard and the reserves that have been able to, that have had to be shipped out. It allows the families to come up with ways to just pay the bills in some cases.
Did you guys ever expect this would be such a success? I mean, it was just an idea, and all of a sudden, there it is. It's out there all over the country, isn't it?
Well, we first come up with the idea. We probably figured it'd last a few months, but a lot of people like to express themselves with putting something on the back of their car, and it's kind of a freedom of speech, whatever you might believe in, whether it be supporting the troops or supporting the football team.
We appreciate it. You guys have been great. Chris and Dwayne, we appreciate the information, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot.
All right, it's all done.
On the front lines tonight, supporting the troops. As the song goes, tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. But what happens when you run out of yellow ribbon? Well, that's when you create the magnetic ribbon, those ubiquitous yellow bands that you see increasingly on the backs of cars and trucks. Well, joining me now, the men behind that project, Dwayne Gullion and Christopher Smith. Now, Dwayne, I know you don't want to take credit for this because you actually say this was Christopher's idea, right?
Right, that's correct.
All right, Christopher, how did you get the idea? You actually heard of a shortage in yellow ribbon?
Yes, ma'am. I read a local newspaper about shortage in yellow ribbon, and we just kind of put that idea with some current magnet products we were printing at the time.
And was this a for-profit venture, or did you want to make a statement about the war?
Well, we were kind of slow on work, and also we wanted to do something for the war. People were asking for something to support the troops and the effort.
But I don't think it would be as widespread if it weren't for Dwayne, right?
Correct.
Dwayne, how did you jump into this? Because originally it was just a limited supply that went out to churches and schools for fundraising, but then you jumped in. What happened?
It was just something that I thought would be a good fundraising idea, and I put up a website, and I didn't know how it would take off, but that's really what made it take off, was the website and getting it into the hands of some of the family readiness groups at the military bases.
Yeah, and I bet it made them feel good to feel like they were doing something, right? As
Right.
they feel so helpless to watch their loved ones go off to war. How many of these do you think are out there?
There's millions now. We've sold over 1 million of the Support Our Troops yellow one.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
All over the country?
Yes.
Are there any around the world, do you think?
We've shipped them to APO addresses, probably going into Iraq and for sure Germany, and you know, I know Alaska's part of the United States, but we've shipped them to Alaska and Hawaii, just Guam, lots of different places.
Wow. You know, Christopher, I was talking with some of the interns here and the young budding journalists over at CNN, and they don't remember Tony Orlando and Don, the song Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree that made it so popular. And you guys don't look like you're old enough to remember that song either.
I remember it. I remember it.
You
It's
do?
been a while, but I do remember it.
Yeah, because it became popular again. It was first back in 1973, then again in the early 80s when the Iran hostages were released from captivity. So when you see this ribbon, Christopher, what does it mean to you?
It's meant a lot. I mean, it just really feels good to see that you've done something for the soldiers. I mean, they're out there fighting, giving their life, and just for our freedom. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, Dwayne?
The same thing. It's all about the men and women that are over there fighting for us, so we can be home and live free.
And the money that you're making, the profits, they go to what?
Magnet America, we've given to Freedom Calls. It's a foundation in New York that has a station over in Baghdad, north of Baghdad at Camp Cook, and they have video, satellite conferencing, and voice over IP that the soldiers can communicate with home and witness births and weddings and graduations.
Oh my goodness, seriously.
So that's one of the things that we've supported, and then other than that, we've done some with our local Relay for Life teams with the cancer awareness, and then also a lot of the family readiness groups that we have as customers, we've just donated to them.
So you actually get to hear back from the families then? You get to hear back from the families or the soldiers about this idea?
Oh yeah, we do hear back from them. We hear from the soldiers when they come home too, and they're just amazed at how many of these are on cars.
Wow, more than 1 million, and still growing. Christopher Smith, Dwayne Gullion, happy holidays.
Thanks, Carol.
You're making a lot of families feel real good.
All this week, we are honoring the many Americans doing extraordinary things to support our troops overseas. And tonight, a North Carolina man who started what is now a popular tribute to American troops stationed around the world. Lisa Sylvester reports.
You see them everywhere on cars and trucks, those yellow Support Our Troops ribbons. The original yellow magnets are from King, North Carolina, where about 70,000 are made a month. The owner of Magnet America is motivated not by money, but a mission.
I thought it was a really neat symbol, a neat way for somebody that maybe had a loved one over there to be able to express that by just putting something on their car.
The idea to make the yellow magnets came from a local screen printer.
April of last year, I read an article in the local paper about a shortage of yellow ribbon that was being manufactured up north, and kind of put the idea with what we were already doing, which was car magnets.
Dwayne Gullion wanted to market and distribute the ribbon magnets as a way to raise money to help support military families. True to its word, Magnet America has been supporting the troops. The company donated $42,000 to Freedom Calls, a nonprofit that helps soldiers communicate with their families back at home.
Oh, cool it down.
But knockoffs from overseas are undercutting the company's business. The ribbons on the right are from Magnet America. The copycats on the left, made in Taiwan. Magnet America has let go about half of its staff.
It upsets you to see that, we were out here trying to, a good cause, not just to make a fast dollar, but to actually help the community, help our country, help the troops.
To stay ahead of the competition, Magnet America has branched out, making ribbons in various colors, sizes, shapes, and for different causes. But one thing will remain the same. The magnets will continue to be made in America. Lisa Sylvester, CNN, High Point, North Carolina.